Hello everyone, welcome once again in the video lecture of Communication Engineering KEC 401. In today's video lecture, we are going to discuss the detection and demodulation methods that we can use to detect or demodulate frequency modulated waveform. So first of all, what do we mean by demodulation? Frequency demodulation is the process to recover original modulating signal from a frequency modulated signal. So what are the methods available for demodulating or detecting frequency modulated signal? We have direct frequency detection method, we have indirect frequency modulated signal, we have indirect detection method to detect a frequency modulated waveform. Under direct method, we have frequency discriminator, phase discriminator. Under frequency discriminator, we have a slope detector and balanced slope detector. Under frequency phase discriminator, we have Foster-Sillay discriminator technique and ratio detector technique. Under direct detection technique, one more technique is available to us, that is zero crossing detector. Under indirect detection technique, we have phase lock loop technique, that is also called as PLL. So let us start with the direct methods for detecting frequency modulated waveform. So what is the basic logic behind the detection of a frequency modulated signal? FM detection is a two-stage process. The detection of a frequency modulated signal will be done in two stages. The first stage is to convert FM signal into an AM signal. The first step is the conversion of FM waveform into a combination of, we can say, FM and AM waveform with the help of a tuned circuit that is called as discriminator. Here what word we are using for detecting FM waveform? Discrimination. So what is the meaning of this word discrimination? We'll understand in the next slide. The first step to convert or to detect FM signal is to convert FM into AM. The second step is then to convert AM signal into AF signal, that is the original information, with the help of diode detector or with the help of envelope detection technique. This is called the extraction of the original information. So how we can detect frequency modulated signal? First we need frequency variations, that is FM signal. Then we need a tuned circuit that will convert these frequency variations into the corresponding amplitude variations. Then we need an envelope detector that will sense or that will detect the variation in the amplitude and will give us the original information. So FM into the detection of FM will be done in these two stages. Now let us understand what is the meaning of this word discriminator. What is the basic concept of discrimination? Here we have a simple block diagram of discriminator. It consists of a differentiator and an envelope detector. What is the role of differentiator here and why we require first FM to AM conversion and how we can achieve that conversion with the help of this differentiator? If we will look at this frequency modulated expression, that is ST equals to AC cos 2 pi FCT plus 2 pi KF integration of massless signal. What our aim is? Our aim is to detect the massless signal. Where our massless signal in this frequency modulated expression? Our massless signal is here at this point inside the integration. So what we can do after taking the differentiation of this frequency modulated expression, what we will get? It will pass this signal through a differentiator, then the output of differentiator will be what? Minus of AC 2 pi FC plus 2 pi KF MT sine of 2 pi FCT plus 2 pi KF integration of massless signal. So what we can observe from the differentiation of this frequency modulated signal, now the massless signal, that is MT, is we have extracted this massless signal out of the angle, from the angle of the cosine. So now the message signal is in the amplitude of this entire expression. Now what we can do, if we'll apply an envelope detector or a diode detector, or will pass this signal through a diode detector, then the variations in the amplitude will be sensed by that envelope detector or diode detector. What we can say, this is the envelope of this expression. This expression is equals to what? This is this entire term is the amplitude and this is the angle part. So what this envelope detector will do, it will sense the variation in the amplitude, that is the envelope of this signal. And what is the envelope? The shape of the envelope is similar to the original information. So at last what we are getting our original information or our demodulated output. So what is discriminator here? In this block diagram, it consists of a differentiator and an envelope detector. Differentiator is used here. The differentiator is used to convert the FM wave into a combination of AM wave and FM wave. Okay, this means it converts the frequency variation of frequency modulated wave into the corresponding voltage or amplitude variations of AM wave. We know the operation of this envelope detector. So what it will provide to us? It will produce the demodulated output of AM waveform, which is nothing but the modulating signal. So in this in the direct detection, in the direct FM detection technique that we are going to discuss, first what we will do, we will convert FM waveform into a combination of FM and AM signal with the help of differentiator, and then we'll pass that through an envelope detector that will give us the original information. So this combination of differentiator, this entire combination we called as discriminator. Now moving forward, the very first technique, the direct method for FM detection is FM slope detector. What is FM slope detector? Here we have the circuit diagram of simple FM slope detector. How we can form the differentiator? We have understood how we can convert FM signal, how we can detect original information from the frequency modulated signal. First we need to pass it from a differentiator. A differentiator can be approximated. How we can realize differentiator now? A differentiator can be approximated by a slope detector, that is a linear frequency to amplitude transfer characteristics over the bandwidth. Here we have, this is what? This is a tuned circuit. We can call it as tuned circuit. This tuned circuit will work like differentiator. Further to this combination of diode, resistor and capacitor, this is what? This is nothing. This is the envelope detector. Okay, so in this circuit diagram we have two stages. First, the tuned circuit, that is behaving like a differentiator, and the second one is envelope detector. So the input signal is a frequency modulated signal. First what we have, frequency modulated signal. It is applied to the tuned transformer T1. This is T1, tuned transformer. Then we have a combination of capacitor C1 and this is, let's say, C2, which is offset from the center carrier frequency. It is C1 and it is C2 and it is, let's say, C3. So here in the circuit diagram what we have a tuned transformer T1 and a combination of capacitor C1 and C2 which is offset from the center carrier frequency. This converts the incoming FM signal from just FM to one that has amplitude variation as well as frequency variations. Okay, what we have at the input, we have a frequency modulated signal. When this will be passed from this tuned circuit, it will convert these frequency variation into a combination of amplitude variation as well as in the frequency variations. So this amplitude signal is then applied to a simple diode detector or the envelope detector. Here the diode provides the rectification, while this capacitor will remove unwanted high frequency components, and this resistance R provides a load, and at the output what we will get our original information back from the modulated signal. So in this way we can detect the original information back from the frequency modulated signal. Here we have the characteristics of frequency of a simple slope detector. Here we are applying our FM signal, frequency modulated signal, which have the frequency variations. It will be applied to a tuned circuit having these this type of characteristic. So it will be tuned. The applied input signal will be the input frequency modulated signal will be applied to the tuned circuit, which is nothing a combination of L and C. It will sense the amplitude variations, and we will get at the output of tuned circuit a combination of amplitude modulated signal as well as frequency modulated signal. After passing these variation to the envelope detector, what we will get? We will get the final or the original information back from the modulated signal. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this simple slope detector? As we have seen, the circuitry is very simple. It can be used to provide FM demodulation when only we have simple amplitude modulation AM detector. It enables frequency modulated signal to be detected without any additional circuitry. We don't need any other circuitry. But what are the limitations of the simple slope detector? It is very inefficient as it is linear in a very limited frequency range. What is the meaning of this? So this range in which we can have this amplitude variation, its operating frequency range in which it will be linear is very small. So it cannot detect very large deviations. Secondly, it reacts to all amplitude changes. What is the meaning of this? If due to noise in a frequency modulated signal, some variations will be added in the amplitude also. So it will react to those changes in the amplitude also. So it requires limiter circuit to limit the changes in the amplitude. Thirdly, it is relatively difficult to tune. Why? Because as the tuned circuit must be tuned to different frequencies than the carrier frequency. Here we have the tuned circuit. So this tuned circuit is required to tune other than the carrier frequency also. So it is difficult to tune. So what we can do, we have the next technique that is called as FM balanced detector or the FM balanced slope detector. This circuit is very much similar to the simple slope detector, with the difference here we are using two slope detector. Here we have slope detector 1, a combination of diode, resistor and capacitor, and another slope detector that is a combination of again a diode, resistor and capacitor. Okay. So here what we will get in case of FM balanced slope detector, the balanced slope detector consists of two slope detector circuit. The input transformer has a center taped secondary. Hence the input voltages to the two slope detectors are 180 degree out of phase. Okay. Here we have three tuned circuit, the first one, the second one and the third one. The primary is tuned to the carrier frequency. This one will be tuned to the carrier frequency. This above one, the second one, T1, T1 will be tuned to the frequency more than the carrier frequency, that is Fc plus del F, and this T2 tuned circuit will be tuned to the frequency lesser than the carrier frequency, that is Fc minus del F. The output we can take from this point, and the output will be equals to the difference of the voltages of these two slope detectors, that is V01 minus V02, where V01 is the output of slope detector 1 and V02 is the output of a slope detector 2. So how this in this way this circuit will operate. So we can understand the operation of FM balanced slope detector with the help of its characteristic. Here we have three frequency ranges. One is the carrier frequency, then the frequency more than the carrier frequency Fc plus del F, and the third one the frequency lesser than the carrier frequency Fc minus del F. The above tuned circuit will tuned to the carrier frequency more than to the frequency more than the carrier frequency, that is Fc plus del F. the below one is tuned to the frequency lesser than the carrier frequency Fc minus del f. So this is the overall range we are getting. Here we can observe the linear range in which the circuit can operate is increased in comparison of the previous circuit, that is the simple slope detector, because of the presence of two different tuning circuit in the because of the use of two different slope detector and the three tuning circuits. So how this circuit is operating? When the frequency of the incoming signal, that is the frequency modulated signal, when the frequency of incoming signal is equal to the carrier frequency, then both the diodes, input to both these diodes will be equal. So when the input to both these diodes will be equal, the voltages of both the slope detector will be same and the output will equals to be 0. What is the value of output? V out is equals to V01 and minus V02. When the frequency of incoming signal is tuned to Fc, then the input available to D1 and D2 is same. That means V01 is equals to V02 and the output will become in this case 0. When the input, when the frequency of incoming signal is lying in this range, that is it is greater than Fc but it is lesser than Fc plus del f, that in such case the input available to D1, that is the slope detector 1, is more than the input available to D2, that is the slope detector 2. So V01 will become greater than V02 and the output will become positive. In the third case, when the frequency will lie in this range such that it is greater than Fc minus del f but it is lesser than carrier frequency, then the input available to D1 is lesser than the input available in comparison to D2. So the output V02 will be more than V01, or we can say V01 is lesser than V02. So the output in such case will become negative. So in this way what we will get? We will get our original information back from the modulated signal along with increased linear range. So what is the advantage and this limitation of this simple balanced slope detector? The circuit is more efficient in comparison of simple slope detector. It has better linearity range in comparison of a simple slope detector, but it has certain limitations also. Even though the linearity is better than the slope detector, but it is not still good enough. It is more difficult to tune because in the balanced slope detector we are using three tuning circuit, T1, T2 and the primary tuning circuit, and it is very difficult to tune them at different frequencies. Even when we were having only a single tuned circuit in case of simple slope detector, the tuning of that was very difficult, and in this case we are using three tuning circuits, so it is very difficult to tune them. Then the last, it is also react to the variations in the amplitude. So here also we require amplitude limiting circuit. The next is Foster-Cille discriminator, that is also a type of phase discriminator. The simple slope and the balanced slope are the types of frequency discriminator. Here this is the type of phase discriminator. First of all, what is the difference between frequency and phase discriminator? In phase discriminator, it uses a phase shift circuit. It converts the instantaneous frequency deviation in an FM signal to phase shift and then detects the changes in the phase. Okay, so this is the basic difference between a frequency and phase discriminator. Now here we have the circuit diagram for the phase discriminator, which is under which we have the first technique, Foster-Cille discriminator. So the basic operation of this circuit is that when the instantaneous input equals the carrier frequency, the two half of the tuned transformer, this one and this one, the two half of the tuned transformer circuit produce the same rectified voltage and the output is 0 when the frequency of the incoming signal is equal to the carrier frequency. Okay, if the frequency of the input changes, that means it can be greater than carrier frequency, it can be lesser than carrier frequency. The balance between the two half of the transformer secondary changes and it results in the voltage proportional to the frequency deviation of the carrier. Here this capacitor, from the circuit diagram we can observe this capacitor and this capacitor C2 are the coupling and RF bypass capacitor. So the voltage available at this point, that is VL3, will almost be equal to Vin. We can approximate the voltage available at VL3 approximately equals to Vin. So here we have the phasor diagram for the Foster-Sillett discriminator. Its operation can be described in three phases. The first phase, when the frequency of the incoming signal is exactly equal to the carrier frequency. When the frequency of incoming signal is greater than the carrier frequency and the frequency of incoming signal is lesser than the carrier frequency. We can understand the operation of Foster-Sillett discriminator with the help of these three simple phasor diagrams. The primary and the secondary voltages in such cases will be exactly 90 degree out of phase discriminator when the input frequency is equal to the carrier frequency. This condition is called as resonance condition, and at this point the output will be equals to 0. The second case, the primary and secondary voltages are less than 90 degree out of phase discriminator when the frequency of input signal is higher than the frequency of carrier signal. The second case, this condition is called as above resonance. In this case the output is positive. The third one, the primary and secondary voltages are more than 90 degree out of phase discriminator when the frequency of input signal is below or lesser than the carrier frequency. That is the third case, and this condition is called as below resonance, and in such case we will get output negative. Okay. So in case of Foster-Sillett discriminator, it is much easier to align as there are no two tuned circuits and both are tuned to the same frequency. Here we don't have the two different tuning circuits and these two are tuned to the same frequency. Linearity is quite better as compared to the simple slope and the balanced slope detector. A circuit relies less on frequency and more on primary and secondary phase relations, which is quite linear. The only drawback of this Foster-Sillett discriminator is here also amplitude limiting is not provided. So it will also react to the variations in the amplitude. This problem of amplitude limiting now we can overcome with the help of another circuit which is called as ratio detector. So this ratio detector is also a type of phase discriminator, and here we will discuss only the changes between this circuit and the previous circuit, that is Foster-Sillett discriminator. We can say that ratio detector is a modified Foster-Sillett discriminator circuit to incorporate amplitude limiting. Okay. So what are the changes in this circuit in comparison to the Foster-Sillett discriminator? Here changes are mentioned. It is same as the Foster-Sillett discriminator, but with these three limiting changes. First of all, in this circuit the amplitude limiting circuit is incorporated. Then the second change, D2, this D2 is reversed. Then the shunt capacitor CS, here we have the shunt capacitor CS charges to approximately the peak voltage across the secondary winding of T1. The reactance of this shunt capacitor CS is low and RS simply provides a DC path for the diode current. Okay. The third change is, therefore the time constant of RS and CS is sufficiently long or high so that the rapid changes in amplitude of the input signal due to the thermal noise or other interfering signals are shorted to ground and have no effect on the average voltage across the shunt capacitor CS. So with the help of this, what we will get the amplitude limiting. The characteristic of this ratio detector is almost similar to the Foster-Sillett discriminator. Here also the linearity range is wider and it also provides the solution to the amplitude limiting. The next category to detect the frequency modulated signal is direct detection of FM signal, that can be done with the help of PLL. that is called as phase lock loop. It is mostly used and the best method for detecting FM signal. It can be employed for detecting analog as well as digital frequency modulated signal. So what is PLL, phase lock loop circuit? It is a circuit which comprises of a phase detector, a loop filter and a voltage controlled oscillator. How this circuit operates? The function of this phase detector is to compare the signal, that is the incoming signal, and the signal coming from the VCO. VCO is voltage controlled oscillator. What this phase detector will do? It will compare the phase and frequency of the signal applied to it. Corresponding to the difference in the frequency of the applied signals, it will generate a DC voltage. The difference in the signals, the difference in the frequency of the applied signals will be converted into a DC voltage with the help of this phase detector. That DC voltage will be further amplified and filtered with the help of this low pass filter. This low pass filter will remove the further high frequency component present in that particular signal and will pass it to a VCO, that is voltage controlled oscillator. What this voltage controlled oscillator will do? This voltage controlled oscillator will keep on adjusting the frequency of its output signal depending upon the received voltage signal. So it will keep on adjusting the frequency generated by this VCO with respect to the signal applied with the help of the incoming FM signal. So it will keep on adjusting its frequency till the two frequencies, let's say F1 and let's say F2, will not be matched. So if there is any difference between these two frequencies, this phase detector will keep on producing a voltage difference in terms of voltage, and it will keep the VCO will get that voltage and it will keep on increasing or decreasing its frequency of its output signal according to the received voltage. The moment both the frequencies will be matched, it is called lock state. What this is called? When F in is equals to F out, let's say if its frequency is F out, it is called lock state. So this looping process will keep on occurring or will keep on happening till we don't achieve this lock state. So as the name indicates, phase lock loop. So what is the function of this phase lock loop or PLL? Its function is to keep on adjusting the frequency of this VCO till we don't get this lock state. Okay. So PLL, when fed with an frequency modulated signal directly, it produces an output signal that is proportional to the message signal. So with the help of this, what we can have, we can detect the original information back from the frequency modulated signal. The SNR we can have from the help of this circuit is very high. PLL has low cost and superior performance even at low SNR, signal to noise ratio, and it is the best method that we can use for the detection of FM signal, whether it will be analog or it will be digital. Also, this PLL operates in these three states or in these frequency ranges, that is lock range, capture range and free running frequency. What is free running frequency? Free running frequency is the frequency generated by this VCO when we have not applied any input signal. So in the absence of input signal, a random signal that will be generated by this VCO that we can call as a free running frequency. Then we have the capture range and lock range. When we apply the input signal and VCO will start adjusting its frequency, then we will get the capturing frequency, and the frequency at which we will get this state, lock state, that is F in is equals to F out, is called lock range. Now we can have we have discussed all the methods, detection methods, with the help of which we can demodulate or detect original information back from the frequency modulated signal. Here we have certain advantages and disadvantages of performing frequency modulation. What are the advantages of performing frequency modulation? First of all, the amplitude of the frequency modulated wave remains ineffective. That means there is no change in the amplitude in case of frequency modulation. So the effect of noise will be lesser in case of FM in comparison of AM. So it will provide large decrease in noise, hence increase in the signal to noise ratio. The frequency allocation allows for a guard band which reduces adjacent channel interference. It is also one of the major advantages of performing frequency modulation. We can use frequency modulation in very high frequency application also, that is used in, so we can use FM in VHF applications, but we have certain limitations. Certain limitations are associated with frequency modulation. The first one is the requirement of bandwidth is very high. Bandwidth requirement theoretically is infinite, and it will consider the practical aspects also, then it will be 20 is as high as 20 times in comparison of amplitude modulation. So it requires a much wider channel while performing frequency modulation. The second limitation that we have discussed in today's video lecture also and in the last video lecture also, that the receiver and the transmitter used for the generation and detection of FM waveform are quite complex and costly. So also at higher frequency modulated signal pass through the ionosphere and do not get reflected. So FM we can say has lesser coverage area in comparison of AM signal. Okay, so where we can use frequency modulation, we can use in these application, FM radio broadcasting, we can use in sound transmission in TV, we can use in police wireless. So these are the certain applications of FM performing certain applications of frequency modulation. So in this video lecture we have discussed the detection methods, direct and indirect detection methods, direct and indirect FM detection methods. Under direct methods we have discussed the frequency discriminator and phase discriminator. Before that we have discussed the concept of discriminator and the process of detecting FM signal, of detecting original information back from the frequency modulated signal. Then we have discussed PLL, and then we have discussed the advantages, disadvantages and applications of FM. This is all about this video lecture. Thank you everyone.